Might interest you to know that we had to get scissors. We were going to bring scissors from Wellington this morning, but then we realised that that'd be AVSEC, so we almost were stopped from cutting red tape by red tape, but we managed to get here. Yeah. But look, I just want to thank you for coming along. I particularly want to thank Alex for hosting us and for submitting to the red tape tip line, and especially Minister Penk, who I believe is making enormous leaps and bounds right across the building portfolio, whether it's crazy earthquake regulations that have held New Zealand back, getting more affordable building material, or right across the building sector. I think Chris Penk is doing a tremendous job to make life easier for Kiwis. And when we heard from Alex in our red tape tip line, a tiny irritant, not the biggest problem that New Zealand is faced by any stretch of the imagination, but something that's just so stupid. The councils don't want to enforce it, people don't want to follow it, no one benefits, and yet it's a rule that you'd be surprised how many people are irritated by. We said to Chris, do you think we could do something about this? And being the kind of guy Chris is, cutting red tape right across the government, he said absolutely. So we wanted to bring you here, and we're very grateful for being hosted, to show that we do actually have a government that is committed to removing silly rules, no matter how big or no matter how small. Sometimes it's replacing the entire RMA, which is clearly needed if it takes 4 years to subdivide. Sometimes it's a silly rule that says you have to have your garden shed at least as far away from the wall as it is high. The rules that we're changing mean if it's less than 10 square metres, it can be right up against the fence, and if it is more than 10 square metres and up to 30, it needs to be 1 metre away. And this is the practical reality for a lot of people for a long time before rules like this came in. Now you hear from people who are developers who say, well, are we going to get busted for this? Maybe, maybe not. Do we want to spend time thinking about it? Definitely not. And it's just one of those little examples of how New Zealanders end up spending more time trying to comply with rules, get permission to do stuff, than actually do stuff. And that's why we're here today, to show that the red tape tip line, 800 people so far, triaging them, processing them, making changes. For example, the government recently changed the threshold for probate on a will. That's a massive relief for thousands of Kiwis who have the misfortune to lose someone, and we keep on making these little changes time after time. I don't know if Chris, you had anything to say?
Yeah, look, I don't have much to say because you've actually covered it really well, David. Certainly from a building and construction perspective, we know that there are large and small reforms that we need to make, and David's mentioned a couple of those. But of course, in a small setting, for example, an individual household or dwelling, a small change can actually make a big difference. So that's the spirit in which we're approaching our work. Large and small changes needed, and certainly it's really great to interact with the work that the Ministry for Regulation and David's red tape tip line has been engaged in, because these are the things that are important to Kiwis. We're responding to those, and so it's with great pleasure that we're here and can make a small dent in the problem of regulation and cut some red tape. So we're looking forward to doing that, and again with gratitude for the initiative to get in touch for yourselves, but also for fellow Kiwis in Auckland and across the country who are facing such issues. It's a small but important step in the right direction.